Whether you're traveling for business or leisure, a great experience during air transit continues to increase in demand. Do African airlines cut it? Anyways, here are the Airlines of Africa. Like, subscribe, and share please to help us. Thanks and enjoy. Let's start with the smaller guys. The airlines that fly regionally and within the continent. As of 2024, there are close to 400 airlines on the continent, flying over thousands of air routes, from the rural areas to the cities. Air Peace, however, is the largest airline in West Africa, with a fleet size of 29 carriers. Airlink, based in Johannesburg, is the largest regional airliner in Southern Africa, and the second largest on the continent. You also have some airliners that are dedicated to tourism, since tourism is important on the continent. In this case, passengers will transfer from regional to chartered airlines, from major airports to destinations like the safari locations. Airliners like ProFlight Zambia aid in tourism to Victoria Falls or national parks, and airliners like Safair from South Africa have a niche in humanitarian needs. Many of these airlines also offer chartered services for businesses and the wealthier people on the continent. Even though Nigeria does not have a national airliner, it has the most airliners on the continent, with over 87 and counting. This is followed by South Africa with 70. But South Africa has the highest number of planes on the continent. Of all the countries, Somalia has the oldest fleet, with planes ranging at 33 years. Many countries have subsidiaries, kind of younger sibling airlines to their national airliners, like Morocco having Royal Air Maroc Express to the Royal Air Maroc, or Jambo Jet to Kenya Airways. There are, however, some countries without any regional or even national carriers, like Sierra Leone, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Chad, Central African Republic. Hence, they depend on regional airliners from surrounding nations for aerial transport. Of all the 54 nations, there are 33 flag carriers on the continent, while others ceased operations due to neglect, corruption, or COVID-19. While most of the flag carriers move continentally, more than half of the airliners fly outside the continent, mainly to Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, and a few looking to expand to Latin America. As these airliners are busy with flights, they all have some sort of unique history to them. For example, Air Algeria has had multiple hijackings, with the hijackers making silly demands like redirection to North Korea and demanding to be on live TV. However, all situations ended in resolution. In Angola, when the country initially ordered Boeing to be used, the deliveries were blocked by America, as it was during the Cold War. Fast forward to the 2000s, and Angola is the first African nation to have the Boeing 777-300ER. Air Botswana has been losing money for most of its history. However, a moment came with the destruction of its fleet. See, one of its pilots in 1999 stole one of the planes and eventually crashed it into all but one of the planes, which coincidentally was the worst of the bunch. The airline has attempted to privatize the fleet, but complications have prevented the execution of the privatization. Cabo Verde Airlines have a long history with Iceland Air, which included a turning of staff and the relocation of its hub. Egypt Air has been around for almost 100 years, and it's no surprise that it has gone through multiple rebranding. Initially, it was called the Misr Atwell, before being renamed to Misr Air, to United Arab Airlines, to finally Egypt Air. Eswatini is the youngest of the national fleets, only commencing in 2023. It flies to South Africa and Zimbabwe. Libyan Airlines has an unfortunate history due to the country's unstable climate. However, there was a time that the country wanted to use Rolls-Royce power plants in their planes, but it was blocked by America because they suspected Libya was going to use the planes for military purposes. In recent times, shelling of the planes have reduced the fleet of the airlines. Madagascar Airlines used to be called Mad Air, before it changed its name because of the negative image. Malawi Airlines rose from the ashes of the bankrupt Air Malawi. However, 49% of its shares belong to Ethiopian Airlines. Rwanda, rebranded after Rwanda Airlines, was dissolved due to the 1994 genocide. Now the airlines are owned by a 49% stake of Qatar Airlines. They also have a base in Benin. Air Senegal became the first acquirer of the Airbus A330-900s on the continent, and they are aggressively looking to be the leader in aviation in West Africa. Though they had a short halt in flight due to the pandemic, the airline now is one of the few African countries with direct flights to America. On the negative side of this, some airlines have been banned from the EU due to safety or sometimes political reasons. Some were on the list and have since been reinstated, like Air Madagascar and Zambia Airways. When most Africans rank the flag carrier airlines, they would usually mention Air Seychelles, Air Mauritius, Kenya Airways, which was the first privatized national airways, Egypt Air, the first national airliner on the continent, Royal Air Maroc, a significant transit airliner between 3 continents that aim to expand in the future, South African Airways, which is recognized as the second best airline on the continent, with only Ethiopian Airlines before it. Ethiopian Airlines is the creme de la creme of African aviation, and it has been for a long time, servicing to over 150 destinations. It is the largest in Africa in terms of passengers transported, destinations, fleet size, and revenue. It's even the fourth largest airline in the world in regards to countries served. Flying on these airlines grants one a different experience in cuisine, presentation, and the overall routes through the continent. Usually, air hosts and hostesses are in their native attires, serving a hybrid of local and universal cuisines while you fly over the different climates of the continent, from the rainforest to the scorching Sahara. Flying in Africa used to be one of the most dangerous forms of travel. However, over time, with emphasis added to training, consistency, and funding, it is now safer to travel in Africa compared to the global average of flying. The continent is projected to make a profit of $100 million by the end of 2024. Though this is a milestone compared to the previous years, it's still 1% of the global profit in aviation. This needs to get better. However, more people are projected to be traveling in the next 10 years, especially as countries are exploring visa-free sections, along with the population boom of the continent and the growth of the middle class. Time will tell. Anyways, what has your experience been with flying through Africa? Thanks for watching. Will we see you in the next one?